I'm Jade King Carroll. I'm the director for Matthew Lopez's The Whipping Man here at Portland Stage Company. One of the things that really attracted me to this play was how it's set in such a specific time and place in American history. It takes place just a few days after the Civil War, and it's all about the civil wars that happen within our families, the families we choose, the families that we're born into. It's about ownership and freedom of your own choices and the choices that the country and your families make for you. It's about brotherhood within our country, brotherhood within our families, within our homes, and it's about loss and moving forward. It takes place just moments after the Civil War, and one of the big questions on everyone's mind in America was what's next? What does freedom mean? And what did it mean for America, and what did it mean for the individual?
Yeah, you know, pretty much what most people learn about the Civil War and emancipation is, you know, they come with this understanding of as soon as the slaves were emancipated, they were free, and that was that. And then eventually we all got our rights in the 70s, which, you know, doing all the research in this play, I realized that most of the chaos, or a lot of the chaos that occurred, happened right after the slaves were actually emancipated. I would say 1/3 of all the freed slaves actually died from starvation and disease, and frankly, like neglect from either Union soldiers, and some were even put in camps just outside of their bases, in which they were actually put back into their old, you know, slave bins. So as they were being quote unquote freed, they were also, you know, isolated, because in terms of the African-American experience, there's a long legacy of displacement. You know, if you want to talk about the Middle Passage, if you want to talk about just, I mean, you can even connect it to modern-day displacement in our own neighborhoods now, whether it's gentrification, whether it's, you know, classism. So the main theme surrounding my character, John, is what's next? What is it to be free? In this household, in this slave, in the De Leon household, you know, you find that the slaves weren't treated as bad as the others. And now that they're freed, that technicality of freedom, what does that mean? Because anyone could still take an African-American's life on the, you know, whether you're migrating up north for freedom, whether you're still staying in the South, you're still very much in danger. And because of the aftermath of slavery and of the Civil War, especially in this play in Richmond, you're in the South, there's still a lot of anger and a lot of chaos. So in terms of this emancipation and this new freedom, this was the deal. You have no rights still, you have no property still, and you still can't really go anywhere. You have no real support system, and you have, for many slaves, your family is still separated.
Well, my character is the oldest slave of this. It's not a plantation. We've decided that the owner of the house is in some sort of mercantile business, maybe. But my character is kind of the moral center of the play. He's very religious in this Jewish household, and one of the pertinent facts of the play is that it takes place during Passover, and that really means something to Simon, who eventually creates a Seder to pay homage, to pass on that knowledge to the young bucks here about the struggles of people coming out of slavery. He still thinks that this household is a family because we're united in our faith in God, which is kind of interesting considering the head of the plantation, Tom's father, didn't believe in punishing the slaves. He would send them into town to the whipping man to administer whatever punishment needed to be administered. Brooks's character, John, is there all the time at the whipping man's place, you know.
I think, you know, talking about coming home, and especially for soldiers returning from the war, I think it's important to remember that this kind of slaughter on a mass scale had never been seen before. And if we think about it in terms of today, I mean, you'd be looking at 6 million dead soldiers, which is almost on a scope. that's incomprehensible, and that's something that you hear veterans both of the Civil War and of all the wars that have followed. Something they struggle with is being able to communicate those experiences of war to those close to them, be that loved ones, family, friends, or even just people in the community. And I think one of the unseen sacrifices that veterans make is this distance that they then carry with them, with their family, that they're some part of their life or who they now are. They won't ever really be able to be fully understood, and not just war, but any kind of atrocity, be it genocide or, in this case, slavery, that on some level, as much as I learn about what their experience has been like in the play, as much as Caleb hears about it, there's only so much he's able to process that. And I think as a society, we're still doing that. We're only able to take so much of what happened in at a time, which is why you see this civil rights struggle taking hundreds of years, and it will continue. I think we'd be kidding to say that the issues of the Civil War were by any means fully resolved, but I think the play does a good job of opening the door of discussion and looking at some of these issues.
I also think in order to move forward, you have to look back, and this play does a wonderful job of allowing us to do that.